It is low tide. This is location option number 2. I was trying a waterfall near the gun range, and I did not have reception. So the one reason behind that would be then I could dunk the wood to loosen it up. So I don't know if the tide's gonna be coming in here for a minute. I didn't look at the book. I may get run off. And I've chosen this location because of the rock. Oh dear. All right, so. Really trying to dig in more. Well, there it is a little bit. See, but I'm just getting all these big chunks. And then I have the propensity to get lax with how I'm directing the cut. But this is a difficult medium. An artist told me that, so I feel better about it. So I'll be doing oyster mushrooms out of buckets soon. That'll be the next garage project. And I'll do reishi out of bags. If I can get a good, and I don't want it like slinging at my face. Right? And like I was saying, I was at the waterfall, but I couldn't get reception. And it was pretty loud. And then it's by the gun range, so there's always gunshots going off. So it's kind of a thing. And then I brought bear mace, but it's been expired for 5 years. So that would have been a trial. We would have found out real quick. And then I was kind of cornered. I was kind of like in this little nook area. So yeah, and then I was gonna run to the dump, but they're closed on the weekends. And so I'll do that Monday. I'll load it up. I'm just trying to get the rest of that crud out of the garage, free it up. I'm gonna move the storage over. But the mushroom farm it's kicking butt. I'm stoked. I'm doing daily shorts pretty easily. Something's always happening. Mycelium's always growing somewhere. And, but I gotta work. I gotta work tomorrow. So yes, once I get the rest of that crud over, the storage will move to one corner. I'll set up like a little office space, and then I'll run it. And then I wanna put epoxy down on the concrete. So that'll feel like a total remodel. My buddy's coming over. He's gonna drop off a kicker for the skiff. So we'll be getting out on the water. And I'd love to have some sort of, I don't know if it's Starlink or what have you, but I'd love to get out on the boat and be able to make videos. That might be a next year kind of deal. So I am whittling a piece of yellow cedar, and then that was the logic for the waterfall was I was going to be able to dunk it and then make it more malleable. Hello. Gosh, I remember when I lived in Juneau, the ravens I'd go get chicken at the grocery store, and I'd eat it on the way back. And then they'd surround you like a pack of raptors. And then I'm eating chicken, and then they get closer and closer, and they'll land on cars next to you, and they'll be barking at you or squawking at you. And then it starts to drive you a little crazy. You're just like, you feel like they're going to attack you. And I think that's what they're trying to tell you. And then before you know it, you're throwing the chicken, you're trying to get them away from, you're like, leave me alone. Yeah, so the objective, ideally, if I can get some sort of design to create rivets, I'm trying to carve a tiny little mushroom. But I may have picked a very difficult shaped thing. Yes, this is yellow cedar. This is definitely like a softer wood. We had one in the yard we had to cut down. Bit of a lean. Yeah. I got curry in the crock pot. I'm doing a coconut sweet potato curry with chicken. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a lot done today. I'll go to the gym later after this little episode. A little windy, but summer's here for sure. Summer in Sitka is upon us. You can feel it too. All the seasonals are here. Happy to be here. They're having a vote on cruise ship passengers. So the debate is, do we limit the cruise ship industry? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Everybody wants it to be like the 80s again, or even the 90s. Yeah, I need to buy more bear mace, but it's like, I think it's like 80, 90 bucks for a can, you know, if it expires every year. It's like, gosh. You're like, well, I hope I don't use it, but then you don't use it, and then you're like, well, there goes another 80, 90 bucks. Or how much do you really hike? Ooh, that sun is nice. Then there's the gun route, but then you gotta, I mean, do you have a holster on the chest? Do you put it on the side? And then in theory, if you see a bear, it's kind of like a nature win, you know? It's like an exciting episode, unless it's at you. So then you don't, and then they false charge too. So you don't, if they start running at you, you don't necessarily want to just gun it down, per se. You'd want it to like get pretty close. So then you gotta like, so I took a gun class, and he was like, well, you're gonna wanna unload the chamber as fast as possible from a target that's within 5 yards. I'm like, oh my gosh. That sounds horrible. No, it did not. I had a buddy who got turreted on at camp, like headshot. It's tragic, you know, when you're a young man, but hilarious. The birds will target you. I mean, the ravens are pretty smart, crafty birds. I've met people with kind of like friend ravens. They'll feed it, you know. They'll start training it. The bird will start coming around. They'll call it its friend, but I don't think the eagles are as intelligent. I think the ravens. Yeah, you can definitely hear them, right? In the fall, this place will just be slamming with pink salmon, just slamming. It'll be like a hot tub out there. I'm giving away fish now. I didn't eat it enough. Figure about a good year in the freezer. This is yellow cedar. This is a chunky yellow cedar. It's soft, it's malleable, it smells fantastic. It's got a lot of oils in it. It's great for construction. It's good for carving. It's expensive. Yeah, technically a lot of it's old growth, but there's not really a lot of sense in not cutting trees down. I mean, they're falling down more than anything else. We have a very shallow root system here. Yeah, it's really, you know, I've heard a couple reviews. Some people say there's a tool to curvature in. Again, what I should do is I should go bug those guys that carve the totems in the park and watch. They're doing large scale though, you know. I mean, I have a whole new appreciation for woodwork. Again, I'm trying to make a tiny mushroom, but it, you know, maybe I'll change my mind. This is, I mean, just little by little, right? Makes me want to have a wood shop. Yeah, but it smells fantastic. And again, I did want to experiment with dunking it in water. I don't think I'm gonna dunk it in salt water. I was hoping that was the waterfall. I should have just brought a bucket. Got a real smooth curvature. So yeah, no, the oyster mushrooms should be ready to go pretty soon. I would say in the next couple of days I'll get the buckets going. I've got alder chips. I'll sterilize those. I got this cheesecloth that I'm gonna put them in, and then put them in the pressure steam sterilizer. And then yeah, I'll have fruiting chambers ready to rock. I've got lion's mane busting out. I had it for dinner last night. I put salt, pepper, paprika, oil. I did half of it in the air fryer, half of it on the skillet. And I tell you what, it was pretty good. I'm not going back to that crap button mushroom stuff anymore. I have become a snob. I might try to cook it for the roommates later, in addition to the curry that I got going. The birds have all but left me alone for a bit there. I thought they were planning an attack. So definitely low tide. I've chosen this location because it's got the rock that I found. might try a bigger one. The smaller they go. This one's got actually kind of like a tip. So not just whittling, I do kind of have, ooh, see, it's a little bit more, maybe this is just sharper. I just want to get, if I can get down in to make kind of a lip, but yeah, so like I said, the bear mace is expired, but this is a fairly safe location. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Not sure what those guys are doing. It's just so nice out, and it's May. God, this is the only beginning of summer. It might be a little late for beach lettuce, but gets a little bitter the later you go. Not sure what the tide's at. Might see a blue herring at some point if we stand. If we could be so blessed. But the channel's doing pretty well, and I got, with the projects I have going on in the garage, I'm able to pump out content pretty regularly, and I'm hoping to make a long form of the bucket, oyster mushroom buckets. And that'll move right along. Early on, I was just kind of bumbling around in the yard, but now I'm bumbling around on the beach. Yeah, so one more dump run, storage, epoxy on the ground, garage should be all set. I've come a long way. I mean, I've only just been able to get into the garage since January, maybe even, God, it's not, maybe even closer to February. I can't recall. I remember it was a whole thing. I'll have to do some research on expired bear mace, because I had two, both of them were expired, and the one that I had was like the super expired one. It's like 2020. I think it was probably the first bear mace that I bought when I came to town. It just felt kind of wimpy when I was shaking it a little bit. And then originally I was going to go to the waterfall, and then you kind of hear gunshots in the background, but then I remember one year they were like, well, there's a bear that's deaf, and so it just kind of like hangs out by the gun range. And so I thought, well, how do you deal with a deaf bear? Oh yeah, look at that. I'm getting the real lip. I'm getting in. That's the goal. As much as possible. This might be more of kind of like an interpretive piece. And again, I don't want to fling it at me, so I gotta. But the reishi mycelium's coming along, and I'll do that out of Master's Mix. And I'll put those in bags, but I'll top them. I won't have them cascading out like the lion's mane. And that'll be beautiful. I can't eat them. So, like I said though, the lion's mane I had last night was fantastic. Fantastic. You want to break it apart by hand, and it had this real crabby texture to it. Like if you've ever had Dungeness crab, like it was peeling apart, and it kind of had that meaty flakiness to it. So then I just put in some olive oil, and then both the skillet and the air fryer came out well. The paprika, the pepper added a lot, and it was just overall like a tasty mushroom. Nothing like a store-bought slime ball nonsense. Oh yeah, they're fishing. Oh, I recognize that guy. So glad I got reception out here. I don't see any cruise ships. So I'll go vote on the Proposition 1. Everyone's got to go vote for one proposition on the cruise industry. I'll have to read it correctly. Sometimes they get you in the wording. Like when they were voting on smoking indoors. I had to read that like, so they had a vote on whether you could smoke indoors. This is when I first came to town. This is probably like 2018, 2019. And then it got voted in, so then you couldn't smoke indoors, and then everybody was flipping out, and all the bartenders were like, I want to smoke at work. And then, so then they had another vote. They had a vote on whether the original vote would stay. So the vote was yes for no smoking originally. And then it was yes to repeal the yes. But then, and then it was like a two-page proposition. So yes was a no. Yes was a no to the original. And so it was just, oh God, I was stuck in that booth. It was even hard to explain. I was trying to tell people, I'm like, could you understand that? I mean, it was like, so a yes is a no, ultimately. A yes. But it stayed. No smoking indoors. I don't know if I've ever, because I became an adult, in theory, technically, in Colorado, and they didn't have smoking indoors. They were the second state to do that. And then I moved to Juneau, Alaska, and then they were one of the first cities in Alaska to do it. And then I moved to Sitka, and that was the first time anywhere that I saw people smoking indoors. It was a lot. Kind of. A lot. Yeah, so this is yellow cedar, and I am attempting to not just whittle, although if you look around me, there's all this shrapnel everywhere. I'm hoping to create a little mushroom statue. I'm growing mushrooms in my garage. I've got, I ate lion's mane last night. I'm doing a blue oyster mushrooms out of buckets strategy here. And so this is low tide. Low tide in Sitka, Alaska. I found a rock, and so here we are. Originally, I was going to do it at a waterfall. It might have been a little bit loud, and I got a little bit of reception, started it, and then it was like reconnecting, and I thought, no, thank you. Plus bears, I was a little concerned I was going to have an encounter. I'll try to find a place with more nature sometime. Although when the salmon start running, that'll be hilarious. I'll just post up next to the stream. It'll just be thousands, tens of thousands of fish. curry. I think I mentioned that before, but I got curry sitting at home. It's on a low. Sweet potato coconut. I'm giving away sockeye salmon to my coworkers. I went dip netting last year and we cleaned up, dude. So it was, but yeah, so I've been eating a lot of salmon because it's coming up on a year and I don't want it to, it's still good, but having it in the freezer for over a year seems a bit, probably lose some quality, so. Yeah, it's a soft enough wood. This is yellow cedar, if I haven't mentioned that, and definitely good for carving. And it's, yeah, it smells fantastic. Oh, hello, bird. Like this guy's been visiting me frequently. Oh my. All right. They talk to you, you know. I hear you. This guy's over here. This guy's over here. I don't know if he wants me to feed him. Oh, he's getting aggressive. He's a tiny one. You know, the thing about ravens, they have kind of a, almost like a purple shine. You can get the shot if you come over. Just get mad at me. They're kind of intimidating. Especially the big ones. You get a big raven honking at you. Yeah, this guy, I don't know if you want me to, this isn't food. Thinks I've got something. I was in Canada one time and I remember when I went surfing, I tried to, if that's what you want to call it. It was pretty brutal. And yeah, and the birds just had a field day with my stuff. I was just like, I got back just beaten to hell. And I was just like, because I said, well, I'm new. Just give me the biggest board you got. I don't need to do anything fancy. I just want to ride it in. And then what they don't tell you is that you have to go out with it. So you have to so the waves are just bashing me. So I just got bludgeoned. And then, yeah, and I got back and the bird said, taking everything. Yeah, I don't have anything for you, bird. Sneaky, sneaky. You're getting closer. This isn't anything. Thinks I've got a sandwich. It would literally take it from me. What a scoundrel. Such a land with so much food. Okay. I think they just get accustomed that if they keep barking at you, because they're frightened, you know, they're like a little raptor. Little raptors. Look at them. Oh man. Oh, that was crazy. There's something just squirted out of the ground. Low tide, it's, you don't realize how much life is going on out here. Yeah, it went like a foot in the air, just randomly. I don't know if that's a clam. I would like to start clamming. And speaking of which, I think that's exactly what they're doing. Oh yeah, look at them. They got buckets and a shovel. Teach me your ways. I don't know. They're a little close to shore though. I think maybe they're doing something else. Probably for gardening. Maybe they're getting like some good material. Burr, I'm getting a little cold. Let me adjust myself. Oh. Flinging this knife around. Let me. Yeah, so I'm on my way to 1,000. I think I'm getting there. There's a lot of material. Now that I'm all set up in the garage, it's like I come home, my ceium's doing something. There's another squirt. Something's squirting around here. This is crazy. It's like I'm under. It's so odd. The earth is just kind of. Yeah, I wonder what that is. Just air pockets, maybe. Yeah, so it's low tide. It's low though. Look at that guy coming in hot. Yeah, I don't see any cruise ships today. Maybe that's why we chose today to have that proposition happen. People get aggressive about it, you know. They're like, oh, you know. But again, they want the town to go back to what it was in the 80s and the 90s. It's like, well, if you don't want cruise ships, we got to have something else. Like, you got to grow, right? But they want to shrink. It's like, I guess, then you would simply become a retirement community. A little chillier. I mean, if the sun comes out, it'll increase by like 10 degrees. Let's see. I don't want to do it like this, but yeah. I'm the only wood carver in town that wears these clothes, but I am not going to play around. One time I went into my garage, I was in a huss about something. I was like, wow, I'm going to whittle. And then I almost immediately cut my thumb. I was just like, God dang it. Never carve wood when you're upset. But I split some rounds, so I've got definitely got yellow cedar lying around. I'm going to use alder chips for the oyster mushrooms. Sitka spruce. Not really. Don't really use that for anything. Western hemlock. That's burnable. And that's pretty much what we got around here. We got alder, tons of alder, tons of western hemlock, Sitka spruce, and then yellow cedar to a lesser degree. But this is the stuff. Nice and soft. A lot of antimicrobial properties. You know, it doesn't rot very easily. Lots of good oils. I'm gonna do a long form video on the, oh, that's a bee. Let's see. I know they're like sacred now or something, so let me just become its host. Probably flying up my pants or something. Let's see. Got some wicked bees up here. Saw one the other day. It was gorgeous. I don't know if there's any bee farmers, although I did see, I think maybe like in like Soldotna or Nakina, I think they do a little bit more like beekeeping. There was a tent set up downtown. They were selling bee stuff, but the alder will work well for the oyster mushrooms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to supplement it with bran. So, and I got the sterilizer ready to rock. I've got this cheesecloth. So I'll wet it, but I won't get it soggy. I'll flatten it out, sprinkle some bran on it, sterilize it, and then I've got the oyster mushrooms growing on ryegrain berries, and I'll cake it into the bucket. And bucket in a bucket, let it colonize it all, and then I got the fruiting chamber set up so it'll just be ready to go. I'll put it in there, probably on another bucket just as a stand. Keep it at about 90% humidity, and I think that'll be gorgeous. I think that'll be slick. So I'll have the lion's mane coming out of fruiting blocks, slit on the side, kind of waterfall style. I'll have the oyster mushrooms coming out of the buckets, and then the reishi. The reishi is going to be interesting. If you look at the mycelium of the reishi, it's different. It's like, it looks more controlled. Whereas blue oyster mycelium kind of gets kind of puffy, it's fine. It is what it is. But the reishi's just kind of, still has a little bit more of an alien quality to it. And I can't eat reishi, but I could add it to some sort of supplement. So and that was kind of the goal with the lion's mane. Was like, okay, can I turn this into a powder and then package it? Although last night I ate it, like straight up. I pulled one off, ate it, and it was deluxe. It was deluxe. So I'm thrilled. At the end of the day, I just might be eating my own mushrooms. And the blue oyster, I mean, if you go to town, think about living in Alaska. I mean, we get our vegetables from down south. And so the shelf life of a mushroom is only, and then they wrap it in plastic. So you get these kind of like generic button mushrooms that they wrap in plastic, so it traps all this humidity in there. They become soggy and slimy. And then we see them like a week and a half later after they get off the barge. And it's just like, this is, I don't even know what this is anymore. If I could somehow get it to the grocery store, right, just stock the shelves, it would be gorgeous. I mean, it'd be unreal. Get blue oyster up there, get yellow oyster up there, lion's mane. Dang, dude, people wouldn't know what happened to them. So the thing is, like, I gotta get this guy in town. So he would come to my garage and then he would dictate whether it's, I forgot all the terms, but it's like if I'm able to sell food that's made there. A buddy of mine thinks it's pretty easy, but I'm getting rained on. Excuse me. I bet there. I didn't even see that coming. It is one. I mean, it can be sunny and raining at the same time. So, let's see if I can protect my tools. I like the rain. It is a rainforest. I live in the Tongass rainforest. There's a lot of microclimates here. There's a tree. I was at work, and there's a tree in the front yard. It won't grow in Juneau, but it will grow in Sitka. We're a 30-minute flight away. So I had another friend, he said he was out fishing. He was on the boat for about 45 minutes. And then he looked up and he was like, it was like a different world.